Hello everyone, this is Esports Hector. In today's video, we're going to go over some upper back, lower back mobility, and some core strengthening exercises that are going to be beneficial for anyone who's sitting on their, on their gaming chair or office chair for multiple hours in their day. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this in a couple different clips, so that way it's just a little bit better in terms of body position and where I am. Now, doing all of this right here is not going to take too much of your time. I would say at the very most, maybe 5 to 7 minutes at most. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go into some foam rolling. Okay, everyone, so a couple quick things. You have a tiger stick, so this can be more or less like your travel size foam roller. You can do things like, roll the quads, roll your back. There's some certain things that you can do in terms of rolling the back, but if you don't have the mobility in the shoulders to do that, please don't. But what I am gonna do is just tag up on the corner a video for some shoulder mobility that you can do in between your gaming sessions. You can either use the tiger stick. What I'll do is I'll put a link to the tiger stick from Amazon, and then you have a foam roller. So this is something that you're probably gonna see in most fitness centers, or now most people will buy them and kind of have them in their house. So I have the largest size. You don't need to go with that. So this is maybe the 3 foot, I believe. You could probably go with like an 18-inch long foam roller, and it'll do the same quality of what you're looking for and take a lot less space. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go into foam rolling the T-spine or the mid-back. Now, what I want you to focus on with that is placing the foam roller at the bottom end of the rib cage. Now, you may hear some cracking and popping, kind of similar to like when you crack your knuckles. As long as there's no pain and it feels more of like a release, then that's good. If you are starting to feel pain, please stop. Please go see a doctor. Again, what I want you to do here is if there's any injuries that have occurred prior to you watching this video, just consult with your doctor before doing any of this stuff. What we're gonna do now is one of two things. You can either wrap your hands, give yourself a nice big hug, or arms go overhead like you're saying the field goal is good. Okay, so I'm gonna just give myself a nice big hug, roll back and forth. Now what you may also notice is I'm just gonna turn over to the side, get that part of the back as well. And I'll get the other side too. So that right there was the foam rolling of the back. So again, I will also put this in the description below for where you can find this. Again, you can find this on Amazon. I'm sure, especially with now us getting into the holidays, you might be able to find a deal here or there. Now that we got that done right there, we're gonna go with a little bit of mobility work of the T-spine. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna face out towards the wall next to me. I'm just gonna sit my hips back, sit my hips right on my heels. I'm gonna go with both hands in front of me. I'll put my hand behind my head. And what I wanna do here is I wanna be able to see this little triangle that I create once I close that circuit, let's say. Taking the elbow, bring it to the opposite forearm, exhale, inhale when you bring it right back in, to exhale again. Now the goal here is when you go into that exhale, I want you to focus on trying to open up a little bit more, okay? So don't let the palm come up where now you feel like you can get a little bit more range of motion. I'm just going to now move into the next drill where what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go into a hip circle. The reason why this is so important is think of the lower back and the hips as two different areas in terms of joints. The hips should be more mobile in nature. The lower back should be more stable. There's an idea of the joint by joint approach where by having the hips, mobile, the lower back stable, you can sometimes reduce a little bit of that discomfort or pain that you might be feeling in that back, because pain can sometimes be more referral than anything else. What we want to do here is go into that hip circle. I'm gonna dig my toes into the floor. What this is gonna do is it's gonna cause my glute to engage. So in my case, it's gonna be my right glute that's gonna engage. And by doing that, I can also keep my body a little bit more stable. What I wanna do here is I wanna extend the leg out and return back in. So again, extend out, return back in. Now, what I would say is focus on getting about like 10 to 12 reps here. That's going to be really beneficial in terms of just getting that grease back into that joint. The next thing that I like to do here is going to be a hydrant. So it's going to be very similar in terms of the position. You're going to be digging those toes into the floor. The hands should be underneath the shoulders. Now, the knees should be as wide as your hands, and then your toes should be as wide as your knees. So there should be a nice straight line all the way down from the hands down to the toes. Now, what you want to do here is this is going to look very similar to a dog peeing on a hydrant, on a fire hydrant. Bring the knee out, right back in. What you don't want to do is kick the knee out. You see how I just rotated over towards you? I don't want to do that. What I want to focus my efforts really on is just bringing the knee out to the side, returning back. Now, you may also notice that with the hydrants, as well as the ab circle, as well as the hip circles, you're going to notice that your core may start to engage because your body has to adjust for that limb essentially being in the air. If you're feeling that, that is very normal. Same thing with the hydrants. Get about 8 to 12 reps. With those two exercises, maybe 2 to 3 sets. That's going to be really beneficial. For the first exercise that we did, where we're just getting that T-spine opener, again, about maybe 10 to 15, but focus on that breathing technique as you exhale and open up. Now, the last thing I want to do here is go into some dead bugs. Okay, so there's 2 different variations that I'm going to have you focus on when you're doing this. The easiest variation is going to have you being still in place. So what this does is it just strengthens the core a little bit. So I'm lying flat on my back, keeping a neutral spine. So I don't want to be flat back where now it looks like my head is lifting off the floor. I want a neutral spine, so there should be almost like a nice, like little even pressure. You may notice that there may be a little bit of a gap in the lower back, especially if there's a curvature or an arch. What I want you to focus on here, the reason why it's called a dead bug, you're going to find out in just a second. So keep the shoulder blades pinned down on the floor and both knees or both feet up. So what I want you to focus on here is 90 degrees at the hip, 90 degrees at the knees, so that way the shins should be nice and parallel to the floor. The first variation is just holding this position, okay? The second variation of this position is now rotating through. So again, take your time. If you start to notice that you're losing that back position, okay, so if I were able to slide my hand underneath your lower back and get through into towards your spine, then there's too much of a gap. You're losing that position in that spine. Focus on keeping that position there. If you notice that after, let's say, 3 to 5 reps on each side, you start to lose that position, start working on 3 to 5 reps, for the week, let's say, 2 to 3 times a day. So that way you can then focus on, adding more reps. Once you can build up to 10 to 12 reps, what we're going to focus on here is going to require a little bit more coordination. What you want to do here, same position as what you were doing. Hands up, shoulder blades pinned down to the floor. Shins parallel to the floor. Again, 90 at the hips, 90 at the knees. Now you're going to go hand and opposite leg. Now, when the heel touches the floor, it shouldn't be a loud slam. It should be a very quiet tap. You may also notice that by doing this, there may be a little bit of a shake. And again, that is very normal. So once you get from that second position to the last position, focus really on building back up again, okay? Don't go crazy in terms of reps just to get reps in. I know a lot of people like to do that, but again, I'm more focused on the quality of the movement and not the quantity of the movement. So slowly build up to that. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message. Please comment, share this with friends. Again, the purpose of this video is to help those who are sitting for many hours in the day to essentially decompress, okay? Decompress that spine a little bit, but also strengthen the core, get a little bit mobility in that T-spine, so by the rib cage, shoulder blades, but also in the lower back, okay? So getting a little bit more mobility through the hips. If you could please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, enable notifications so that way you know when I go live or when I create new content anyways. I would greatly appreciate it. And please, by all means, you can follow me on Twitter at esportshector. As always, everybody, stay healthy and game on.